welcome back to another episode of Vlogmas. It is Thursday afternoon and I have been to Pilates this morning and also managed to get a lot of work done, but I did want to break up the week a little bit. On my way home this afternoon, I did pick up a bag of oranges because I really want to make another dried orange garland this year. I made one a few years back and it lasted pretty well, but last year when I took it out to put it up, it had started to get a little bit moldy, so I did have to throw it out at the end of Christmas last year, so I knew that this year I would definitely want to make another one. I'm also borrowing someone's dehydrator at the moment, so I thought whilst I had that, it would make my life a lot easier and hopefully they will turn out a little bit better as well. The last one I made, I dried them in the oven, which was fine, but they did go a little bit darker and it took forever and made the house really hot having the oven on constantly for like 6 hours straight. So I have sliced the oranges and loaded up the dehydrator. I made quite a few because I'm hoping I'll have extras to give some to my sister because I know she really wants dried oranges as well. I think it will probably take a few hours and it's like gone 2 o'clock now already, so they might not be finished today. I might have to put it back on again tomorrow, but at least it's not heating up the whole house like having the oven on all day. So I'm looking forward to seeing how those turn out. My plan for the rest of the day is to finish up a little bit of work, send a few emails, and I'm hoping I can get that done fairly quickly and actually cut out those pattern pieces that I keep talking about and keep saying I'm going to be doing. I was thinking about leaving it until the weekend, but I feel like this time of year my weekends just fill up so quickly and then suddenly I won't have any free time. So if I have enough time this afternoon, I would really like to at least get started on doing that. I just made a cup of tea, so I think I'm going to sit here, finish off all of my computer work, and then hopefully have enough free time to get into cutting that fabric out. It is Friday and I have almost finished for the week and can enjoy the weekend, but I have a little bit more work to finish up. I did go out to the shops early this afternoon because I thought it would be less busy than going on a Saturday or Sunday, but it was so busy. It was chaos. The car parks were really full and there were people everywhere. I think school holidays has probably started for most kids now, so that's probably why it was so busy. So hopefully I don't have to go out too many more times, but I managed to do a little bit more Christmas shopping. I also went into Spotlight and picked up some more interfacing so I can work on the pajama sets. Yesterday I cut out another pair. I did manage to start sewing up one more pair of the shorts and put the pocket together, and that's looking really good. I did also make a yarn purchase at Spotlight, which I haven't done for a really long time. I struggled to find yarn bases there that I actually like, although I was quite surprised at the amount of natural fibers in their selection at the moment. I do however think that a lot of their yarn is a little bit overpriced when it's not on sale, but whilst I was in there I did want to pick up some yarn to knit my mother-in-law a beanie and hopefully a pair of matching fingerless gloves. She has very sensitive skin, so I did want to go for something acrylic. So I had a look around at their yarn selection and I found this bowl of the Moda Vera Valley 8-ply and these really fun unique colours. They are totally not my colours, but I saw them and I thought of her immediately. I think she'll really like these colours and I'm interested to see how this will knit up. It's a 2-ply yarn with different colours and I really like the effect that that gives. I have a feeling this might be prone to pilling quite a bit, so I was a little bit reluctant, but this 150 gram ball was only $10. Moda Vera is like a Spotlight owned brand, so I don't think this is very easily accessible anywhere else. It does have 375 meters in a 150 gram ball and this was $10 and it wasn't on sale, so I feel like that is fairly good value. Having 150 grams, I know that that will be enough to knit an Oslo hat, but then that won't give me very much left to make fingerless gloves if I don't want to buy another ball of this. So I am thinking about doing a little bit of looking around on Ravelry maybe some of the Purl Soho patterns. I know they have a lot of matching beanie and glove sets that you can knit, so I might see what options they have and whether this will be enough. Even if I just do something with a ribbed brim or like a single folded brim. So I'm looking forward to having a look for patterns and casting this on and using some colors that I would never normally use for myself. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how the different colors will actually knit up in this yarn. I have also just checked on my dried orange slices and they're looking really good. They haven't gone super brown, which I'm really happy about. So it's around 2 o'clock now. I think I'm going to try and wrap up my work for the week and maybe have a look at some patterns for that yarn. I do also need to share an update on the Cara wrap cardigan because I have to do a little bit of frogging on that. So I think that's why I'm kind of leaning towards casting on something new, because I'm kind of mad at that project now. I think it's mainly my fault. It's not really anything to do with the pattern and why it's not really fitting at the moment. But yeah, spoiler alert, the sleeve is way too tight, which I should have known, but we'll get into that a bit later. For now, I'm going to wrap up work for the week, and then when I find the courage to go back to the Cara wrap, I will explain why I need to rip the sleeve out and hopefully have a bit of a plan of what I'm going to try next. Okay, I was going to sit down and do some work, but I just got this in the post and it's packaged up so nicely. I only got one ball of Filcolana Arvetta to make some socks, but it looks so nice. It's Friday afternoon. I'm finished with work for the week. It's been a very busy week, but I've really enjoyed it. I've done a lot of really interesting things, so I am glad it's done and it's time for the weekend and time for knitting. I just made my tea for my advent calendar today. It's really good. I've never had anything like this before. It's elderberry and echinacea. It kind of tastes like a bit of a raspberry sourness, but it's really good. I don't usually enjoy berry, like red colored teas like this, but I'm actually really enjoying this as something a little bit different. So now it is officially the weekend. I have my reward of the yarn that's been sitting on my desk that I've been glancing over, really excited to look at patterns. And I think I might first of all do a gauge swatch with the yarn to make the hat with. I've had a look on Ravelry and the Purl Soho patterns, and unfortunately not a lot of them are DK weight patterns, which I'm quite surprised about. There are a few DK weight ones, but they're mainly stockinette with rolled edges, which makes me a little bit nervous to knit a hat for somebody else, and I'm a bit worried that it won't fit properly, or especially being acrylic will stretch out quite a lot over time and after it's been washed. I did see the watch cap and mitten set, which I know Inga from Knitting Traditions has knit a lot of those hats, and I think from memory she says that it can run a little bit big. So I might do some swatching and work out if that's the pattern that I want to go with, and actually see if this yarn will look good in a 2x2 rib. I was thinking more of a stockinette with a 1x1 rib brim or something, but I do like to use free patterns where I can, so I might have a little bit of digging after I do the swatching if I'm not liking how the 2x2 ribbing is looking. And you would have seen that I received one skein of Filcolana Arvetta from the yarn bowl, and I'm thinking I want to do a 2x2 pair of ribbed socks for my colleague for Christmas. That shouldn't take me too long, so I don't think I'm going to cast those on immediately. I'm more excited about doing the hat. I don't really feel like casting on a pair of socks right now. But anyway, the main thing that I wanted to share is the update on my Cara wrap cardigan. So I was working away on the sleeve last night and I was doing try-ons here and there, and I was thinking, this is feeling kind of tight. I don't really know if I'm gonna like it, but I just kept going anyway and wanted to at least get to the length specified in the pattern and work it as the pattern is written, just to get an overall feel of what it was going to be like if I had just followed the pattern. So you can see the sleeve does look quite narrow and it looks like it should be a pretty good length, but because it's so narrow, it does shrink up quite a lot when I put it on. There is also meant to be a little bit of ribbing on the end of this sleeve, but only a few centimeters, and as you can see, that is definitely not going to reach to the end of my arm. So yeah, you can see the sleeve is definitely falling way too short. Like, it's just basically 3/4 length sleeves and it's really fitted on my arms, and you can kind of see that the stitches are pulling apart a little bit, And yeah, you can just definitely tell that there's negative ease in this sleeve. I did a quick gauge check last night, and bear in mind this fabric is all unblocked. The pattern gauge is 20 stitches per 10 centimeters. On the body, I've been getting about 20.5 to 21 in some areas, and on the sleeve was more like 21, 22 stitches. And I did knit these on magic loop. So I'm sensing a theme here with tight fitting set-in sleeves that I always need to go up a needle size, and I would have thought I'd learned that by now, but obviously not. So I am indeed going to rip back all of this sleeve, pick up stitches, I think for the second size. I've had a look at the number of extra stitches in that, and I think that will give me a little bit of positive ease and a little bit of room in the sleeve without it being too big and look disproportionate to the body. I think I'll also go up to a 3.5mm needle just to account for that gauge difference. And I think that's just what I would need to do for set-in sleeves in the future. I think my bicep and arm circumference in general is bigger than my typical bust size proportion, if that makes sense. So I think I'm going to knit the size 2 for the sleeve and then keep the first size for the body. Obviously, I'm not ripping back any of this body. I don't think I have it in me quite yet to rip back the sleeve and pick this back up. I think it needs to stay in the bag in a corner for a little while before I feel like I'm ready to knit a sleeve again. This really didn't take me very long because it is such a fitted sleeve. It's not a huge amount of knitting, so I shouldn't be dramatic about it. But now I have new yarn, I am kind of feeling like a Friday afternoon treat. I've worked really hard this week and got a lot done. That can be my little reward, is to do a little gauge swatching and do some pattern choosing as well.